The Port Elizabeth High Court has dismissed Pastor Timothy Omotosho's leave to appeal against a jurisdiction ruling. Defense attorney Peter Doberman applied for the sex trafficking trial to be heard by the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. Now, Doberman argued that the High Court did not have the authority to hear the matter because the alleged offences were committed all around the country as well as abroad. This comes after Judge Skuman ruled that the Port Elizabeth High Court has the authority to hear all 97 rape and human trafficking charges faced by the pastor and his co-accused. The case has been postponed to the 7th of October to give Omotoso time to petition the appeal court for a review of the jurisdiction decision. Now, for the latest on the story, we are now joined live by our reporter, Ati Mtongana, who is still at the Port Elizabeth High Court. Now, Ati, won't you give us an update as to the latest in the Omotoso hearing?
Well, of course, Judge Ima Scorman coming out to dismiss the application to appeal the decision and the ruling that she made around jurisdiction, saying that Peter Doberman does not have reasonable prospects of success for this application. And one of the main reasons why she actually dismissed this application by Peter Doberman is that Doberman actually had the charges and the indictment before and did not oppose and object to the centralization of the charges by the NDPP, saying that he did not put forward an objection when the authorization certificate was issued to have all the charges heard here at the Port Elizabeth High Court. Of course, Peter Doberman arguing that some of the alleged incidents did not happen here in the Eastern Cape, citing KZN, the Western Cape, Nigeria, Israel, and many other parts of the country where these alleged incidents happen. And in fact, the state has welcomed today this dismissal by Judge Ima Scorman. I spoke to the original spokesperson of the National Prosecuting Authority, Mr. Kyali, earlier on, saying how pleased they are with this dismissal by Judge Ima Scorman. I'm just going to throw to that particular interview so we can listen into what he said.
Ati, let me ask you this. So does this actually mean that this is the end of the jurisdiction issue that has been going back and forth in the Port Elizabeth High Court? Does this mean that come the 7th of October, indeed, this trial will move forward?
Not at all, Mpho. Peter Doberman, representing Timothy Omotosho and two co-accused, Ukiswa Sito and Lusanda Sulani, will not let this matter lie down without him challenging it. And that is why he has now indicated that he will petition the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. He has been given 30 days to do so. And until then, we'll find out what the ruling is of the Supreme Court of Appeal with regards to this matter, saying that he wants the Supreme Court of Appeal to review this decision by Judge Ima Scorman, saying that he actually questions her judgment in her interpreting the Criminal Procedure Act, some sections of the Criminal Procedure Act. But then Judge Ima Scorman says that Peter Doberman does not have reasonable prospects of success. So those issues now will be dealt with by the Supreme Court of Appeal, and then we'll come back after 30 days. And obviously on the 7th of October, we'll find out what then with regards to this case, whether the Supreme Court of Appeal grants him this leave to appeal Judge Ima Scorman's ruling. We spoke to the NPA and I asked him about this and what it means now for the witnesses, the state witnesses that were expected to testify, indeed evidence, like Shul Zondi has done. And they actually said to us that they are still under witness protection and that they are actually receiving all the necessary support that they need. Because obviously something that the public has raised is how the witnesses are then doing with regards to the several postponements that we've seen in this particular trial. But of course, the state is saying that they're happy and they're pleased with the dismissal and that the witnesses are still ready, and we'll only know when the witnesses will be called once this matter has been dealt with at the Supreme Court of Appeal. And of course, I think I should mention that Peter Doberman has before attempted and has petitioned the Supreme Court of Appeal previously on decisions that were made by Judge Mandela Makaula, obviously those involving his recusal. And that was also followed by then Judge Mandela Makaula recusing himself outside of the decisions that were made by the Supreme Court of Appeal out of his own personal capacity, obviously after the reports emerged that his wife had business interest in a B&B, a guest house that was used to accommodate state witnesses. I mean, even then when Peter Doberman attempted and petitioned the Supreme Court of Appeal, he was not successful in getting the judge to recuse himself, but we don't know what the Supreme Court of Appeal will say with regards to this matter around jurisdiction. So it's not the end of it, Mpho. We will have to wait to hear what the Supreme Court of Appeal decides on this particular review and this petition that Peter Doberman will be doing. He's been given 30 days to do so, and of course the matter now remanded to the 7th of October 2019.
Thank you very much for that, Artie. What we are going to do now is touch base with you a little bit later on, but thank you for that update. That's Artie Mtongana right there in Port Elizabeth.